And PJ, you have an article. What's your article about?
Um, okay. Thank you for letting me on. For what it's worth, this is on its face, it's a sort of blogish post that I'm commenting on, but of course, it's going to lead to my own commentary on the Republican Party, or rather, conservative logic. It's probably not the strongest thing to end on, so I advise anyone else here to have their own thoughts or another article to bring up because I'd feel bad ending it on this note.
Oh,
I
you know I've got some more stuff, so we're good.
All right, I linked it in the chat. It's from Bristol Palin, daughter of Sarah Palin, who responded to SNL's parody from Tina Fey on her mother, Sarah Palin.
Right.
As you might or might not know, everyone, Sarah Palin endorsed Donald Trump for a lengthy amount of time at a podium, basically being his hype man, both saying how great he is and also just rather just rhyming with gibberish is the best I could say. There's so many parodies online, including Stephen Colbert and Tina Fey herself, which sort of make fun of her arbitrarily rhyming things, saying one of my favorite lines I have to bring up is all of you full-time hard-working moms and with the hands that rock the cradle, which if she had any sort of cultural experience with her, would know that that's not a good thing to call people. Look up the movie if you haven't. It's called Hand That Rocks the Cradle. That being said, she of course, because the liberal media is trashing her mom, she has to be in defense of her mother, Sarah Palin,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, "Oh, how desperate were they for ratings to make fun of my mother?" And I can't help but think, that's not the best way to how would you put it, to encapsulate your own mother or anyone you're defending. Oh, how can a large media group be so desperate for ratings that they have to go to an easy, obvious punchline like my mom to make a point? That doesn't really put her in the best defensible position. But more to the point and a bit more concrete. My problem with this is that, I don't blame her for defending her mom, because I'm sure you, Ben, if anyone attacked your family, you'd fight them back, even if all their points were accurate.
Yeah, families, yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but the thing is that I feel like what she does is endemic to conservative logic. It's symptomatic of how, as I see it, and I might be biased, so feel free anyone to correct me on this. Anytime anyone on the right wing spouts off anything, and it could be as without substance as Miss Palin's rhyming
Mm-hmm.
a rally cry, or something as direct and falsifiable as Donald Trump saying there are 30 to 34 million undocumented immigrants in this country, which is completely not true. It's much closer to 11. But he could just say that and not get called down on it. The problem is that for some reason the idea is we're supposed to take their words as at fact, and if we don't, it's either A, the liberal media,
Mm-hmm.
or B, we shouldn't be attacking them for whatever reason. They take themselves as immune to criticism. In fact, take the whole point about Donald Trump not going on the Fox News debate, specifically because Megyn Kelly quoted him. She didn't deride him, she didn't debase him, she quoted him on his own tweets, and he said, "Oh, because Fox News is treating me so bad, I'm not going to get on." So I don't understand, and I'd like anyone's input. I don't understand why the right wing, the far right wing, because I'm sure not every conservative is this batshit, excuse my language. I don't understand why they think they have the carte blanche to say literally anything, from damning points to outright lies, and then when they say it, they shouldn't be called on it, or else I'm taking my ball and going home. And secondly, they're the same people that hate political correctness and safe spaces.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same type of people that don't. They basically, it comes down to they hate opposition,
Right.
and yet
Here.
the right side is all about
Yeah.
fighting tyranny,
Yeah.
fighting the liberal progressive media,
You're asking why right-wing entitlement and victimhood is a thing, and it's the same thing with Christian victimhood complex, which Ben wrote a piece about a little while ago. They're essentially the same thing. They love being played the victim. They love touting being how strong they are until it's convenient to play the victim, and then they love playing the victim, and then they feel entitled. Like, look at the debate schedule, or look at like the debate going on right now compared to the questions that Democrats, especially progressives, get asked. Like, look at Chris Cuomo. TYT talked about this on their show today. Look at the questions Chris Cuomo and Susan Sarandon got on CNN.
Yeah.
When they were questioned by CNN compared to how CNN and other neutral or liberal media sites do with Republicans. They coddle them so much. I don't know if the RNC demands it or if they just do it out of second nature, but Republicans and conservatives get entitled. They get Hugh Hewitt for their debates on CNN when you will never see Tom Hartman or Ben or Cenk or Anna or any progressive talk stars on for a Democratic debate. You just won't.
Well, I appreciate you considering me in that crowd of progressive. Anyway, go ahead, PJ. What's up, man?
No, I just want to say, speaking pragmatically, I myself am completely aware of the dissonance of it, but I wanted to pose it as a question. So if there's some right wing that actually has the gift of introspection, they'd understand the BS that they're being fed, that they are both supposed to consider themselves the victim of all of this injustice, not being able to tell it like it is, not being able to have the American dream because of immigrants and because of Muslims and all that crap, while at the same time feeling entitled to everything that cheap labor, corporate subsidies, and so on is supposed to grant them, even though they realistically might not get it, because as Bernie keeps saying, and I'm going to quote him on this, it's a 1/10 of 1% that's reaping the benefits of all of our hard work. And yet the middle and lower class that's being riled by Trump, by Palin, by Ted Cruz, and so forth, think that they are the beneficiaries of this. They think that they should be getting all of the benefits of the hard work, and they're not. And the fault of that isn't the corporations. It isn't all the tax loopholes and the offshore banking and whatever. It's the poor people. It's the political correctness. It's the liberals. It's the socialists. And all I just want to say is that I'm posing it as a question so that they themselves can hopefully guide themselves to an answer for it. Because obviously, if we tell them that they're wrong and that they're being led astray, they won't listen.
But you know what I have an example. I'm going to up the ante. I have an example that they should be able to see. But then let me let Solomon go first, and then I'm going to give you my example that I think conservatives will be able to see. Whether or not they'll apply it to themselves, that's a whole different question. Go ahead, Solomon.
It would kind of just wipe all that away, but you're asking whether Republicans have any introspection. Any Republican, especially high-profile one, and this isn't jokingly, any high-profile Republican with any sense of introspection about themselves and their party has probably become an independent at this point. This is like citing Lindsey Graham as one. Mitt Romney's on his way there when he basically said if these idiots on the debate stages don't start acting like they need to raise the minimum wage, we're going to lose the party. Like, not lose the election, we're going to lose the party. He's been saying that for months, and it doesn't even get attention on mainstream media circles, on conservative media circles. It's like, you guys need to start supporting a $15 minimum wage right now. And no one's listening to him, and he's probably going to lose the support in the party. And if there's a high-profile Republican who has any self-consciousness, self-awareness of where their party has moved, they're out.
Here's the thing, John Kasich, they're out, or they're at 1%, right? John Kasich is the only one I think has a modicum of self-reflection. Let me take a housekeeping break right here. 7:06. I apologize. I kept you on hold for about 2 minutes. My apologies. If you want to call back, I'll clear it. We'll stop what we're doing so we can take your call, because I don't like keeping people on hold that long. If they have any modicum of self-reflection, like John Kasich, which he still have problems, right? He still has issues, but he can take a moment to look and say, guys, we're going
to be independent soon too, probably when he loses.
Right. And he's going to lose. Like, he's going to lose tragically. That's number one. Number two, it is actually considered a vice. If you ever listen to Rush Limbaugh enough, you're going to hear him talk about liberal navel gazers, right? The navel gazers, people who self-reflect. and have introspection, and it is actually talked about in conservative circles as if it's a detrimental thing. So where we see that as a virtue, like I don't know anyone that's a mature adult that cannot look at self-reflection and introspection as a virtue. Where we see it as a virtue, people like Rush Limbaugh, who are promoting and pushing this Republican propaganda machine, they need listeners who will refuse to have a moment of introspection, which is why they fire on every cylinder, that no matter what comes out of somebody's mouth, like President Obama, no matter how, President Obama could say Jesus is the reason for the season and Christmas is all about Jesus's birth, they will find a way to oppose them, because oppose his words, because if those words ever land on somebody's ears and connects, then it will force a moment of introspection where they look and say, maybe President Obama isn't this or isn't that. And Republican propaganda falls apart as soon as you say maybe or what if. So that's the number one thing. So 706 has called in. I want to